Life before Christie's course, my friends said I was a Jedi. They would say, oh, you manifest everything you want. And then I got stuck. And I was great. My business was successful. My relationship was great. My family was doing great. But I could feel there was another level that I couldn't get to. And Christie's course made it clear to me that I was the one limiting that it was me that said, nope, that's as far as you could go. You have to work harder. And so since Christie's course, I've shifted all of those things. I was looking for something because I knew intuitively, or I knew that the limit I was putting on myself was my own. So I was Googling and looking for something, and I found her on a YouTube video saying you could unblock. And so she was right. So in my life, I have a pet food manufacturing company, and my husband and I had started it 10 years ago, and he was on his own, and then he had a problem with some cash flow, and I jumped into it. And when I jumped into it, we went from 60,000 to 180,000, and I knew that was just a limit that we made. So if we could go from 60 to 100, why couldn't we go from 180 to 300? Why not? And so the stuck was, it felt like I was worried. I felt like maybe I wasn't skilled enough. Maybe we weren't having the right staff. Maybe. There's all these freaking negative questions. We were at the live event that she was doing, the first Mind Valley live event. And she said, how much would you pay to get over one of your blocks? And in that class, or in that live event, I realized that I couldn't get over my family stuff, my sister stuff. I couldn't do that. And she said, well, how much would you pay? How much therapy would it take? How much would you pay to do therapy? And I was like, $25,000. And then she said, come to Hawaii for frickin' $20,000. I was like, well, that'll work. So I started taking the class, and in taking the class, I realized, I don't know how. I've always been intuitive. I've always known I'm doing the right thing. I've always been able to do that, but I can't express it to other people. I could never teach other people, even though I would say, you have the same powers. I know that we all have the same powers, but until I was in her course, I didn't have the language to show other people that they have it too, that we're all Jedis, that we're all, it's ridiculous to think you weren't, but I didn't have the language because of, I didn't understand all of the technology of it. So Christie gave us all of that technology. So now I have people all over manifesting, all over Montrose because of the language she gave me. So my life currently is, my company was at 180,000 and now is at 357,000 a month. The employees are all happy and moving into new positions, which I think is critical for me. That's one of the things I asked for in Hawaii, that the employees feel valued and appreciated, and that they get what they need in life. One of them just had a baby, so he's happy. I started a college fund for him so that they would go to school. My Glenn and I, crazy. He was always afraid to tell me things. It seems like he was dishonest, but it wasn't. It was like a withholding. And something in me shifted so that he doesn't feel that way anymore. Even the other day, he was texting me something and he said, oh, and by the way, I did this on the way. And I was like, oh my God, that's what I want. Clean, easy. And he feels that. If you're a skeptic like me, you just do it. Just try it and test it. That's what we do, skeptics. We just test it. Just test it and see what changes. Test it and see what changes. And what changed with me is every time I would go through the statements, what would it take for me? Because one of my beliefs is that I have to work hard for money. I have to work hard for money. And so what would it take for money to come with ease? What would it take for my business to grow easily? Anything and everything in the way of that, I clear and transmute. Just try it. Freaking make up a sentence for yourself and try it and see if it clears. If it doesn't clear, then it's not your system. If it clears, it's your system.